And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Rebel Wolf, who asked the question, who would win a fight? Mr. Wick, the Boogeyman, or the Boogeyman, Baba Yaga, or just the Boogeyman, Michael Myers. I know no matter what I say here, I'm going to get so much flack one way or the other. But that has never stopped me from giving my actual opinion. Now, we should always clarify Michael Myers because there's so many continuities of Michael Myers now. We have the first movie into the new series, which is its own separate thing. Just those four movies. The original movie and the new Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Then you have Halloween and Halloween 2, which again are their own separate trilogy. Halloween Season of the Witch has nothing to do with Michael Myers. In fact, that movie actually exists within that world. But then Halloween 3 is a continuation of 2, and then, 4 is a continuation of 2, if I am not mistaken. That, or I think it ignores the second one and just goes into the first one again. Either way. And then that series of films between 4 and 6 are its own continuity. Then we backtrack, go back to the first one, have H2O and Resurrection, then we just say, and then go into the Rob Zombie one. So that's like inbred, crossbreed continuity going on right there, and it is mind-boggling. So, we can look at this a couple different ways. We can composite Michael, which I know some people won't be happy about, or we can look at each different Michael, which again, some people aren't going to be happy about. I personally prefer to look at each different Michael, depending on the continuity you're talking about. John Wick, though, let's get this out of the way. Giordani was adopted into I can't remember the name of the family, but he was adopted into a Russian mafia family, raised by them, trained by them, and became the Baba Yaga ultimately in his life, his career. John Wick is arguably the best assassin in his world. There is no one who could ultimately beat him in a straight-out fight. Although, I would argue, I'm forgetting his name, but Donnie Yen's character in the fourth one, had he had his eyesight, solid argument he could maybe have been able to beat John. But still, the man is an expert in many different martial arts, from sambo to jiu-jitsu. He is a savant when it comes to any weapon he gets his hand on, particularly a firearm, where he is a crack shot no matter what. If he doesn't hit you in the head with an instant kill, he'll hit you in the shoulder, a thigh, whatever, and then hit you in the head. The man is an expert with blades, nunchucks, swords. The man can literally kill you with a pencil. But he's also fairly tough and resilient. He wears body armor that can deflect most high caliber bullets, save for like a 50 caliber round. Any normal like handgun or even like machine gun will just deflect off his suit. Granted, he still feels it and it still hurts, but it will deflect off his suit. At least the jacket and the pants, the undershirt, not so much. He's a master assassin, highly durable, highly resilient, can just kind of push through pain and just keep going. He is very capable very capable strategist, and one of the most dangerous individuals in his world. Michael Myers. I can't really. Okay, here's what we know in every continuity. Every continuity. He was a young kid. I think he was around 10 or 12, something like that. And he killed his sister one night, dressed as a clown in a Halloween mess, and he just killed his sister. And no one can understand why he did it. Loomis tried. I think he said tried for. Damn it! I want to get that quote. Let's see here. Michael Myers. Hold on. Michael Myers, because that quote, it's a great quote. Michael Myers. There we go. Not the actor Michael Myers. Halloween. There we go. Let's see here. So, so where is that quote? Because it's a great quote from Loomis about Michael Myers. Oh yeah. I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left, no reason, no conscience, no understanding, even in the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with his blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, then spent another... He was 6, by the way. I was wrong. He was 6. I believe they upped his age in the Rob Zombie remake, but he was 6. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then I was 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. Now, again, the continuity of his age changed up, but that's the general gist. But depending on which continuity you're going with, he may have just been born evil that way, or he may have been influenced by the Cult of Thorns, or he may have been suffering from psychosomatic hallucinations. So it's tough to say what his origin ultimately is. But in every incarnation, he is incredibly dangerous. He is very strong, much stronger than an average man, honestly. He can stab someone with a knife and just kind of hold them there, which, should note, to stab and hold someone while they're above the floor takes a great feat of strength. The knife's doing a bit of the work too. He choked out a German Shepherd on his own. He's capable of just snapping limbs, no problem. He's also highly durable. He survived multiple gunshots in the first movie. Survived being set on fire in the second movie, having his eyes blown out. Or at the very minimum, he got shot in the face and it hindered his vision. But he's capable of surviving the concussive force of an explosion. I think it should be very well noted that he was not the 4th one where they blew him up? I think where he went down a well, they set the well on, they blew up the well, and then the next movie he came out of the river. He was still smoking, but he wasn't on fire. He wasn't on fire. He wasn't even that burnt or anything like that. So it looks like he got away from the brunt, like the point blank range of the explosion. So no fire, no incendiary, no nothing like that. He got mostly the concussive force and probably some shrapnel. Still, he survived that, which is very impressive. He has been gunned down multiple times in every continuity and gotten back up. So most basic firearm, like small arm fire, is not going to put him down. Even shotguns, like bird spray, I can't remember if he actually ever got shot by a shotgun. I think when the posse cornered him, I think they had rifles and stuff. So, either way, he could still survive some heavy fire. In Resurrection, he had a chainsaw come at him from the main character. I think it was the main character. And she was able to it did cut him. We should note, for those who defend Michael, it did cut him. But it was kind of like glancing blows. To be fair, also, and she clearly didn't have the physical strength to wield that thing very well. So even if unless she could corner him and just dig it into his gut, that really wasn't going to do much. Now, what was it? Busta? If Busta had done that, just come at him like that. I think, because Busta actually was duking it out with him pretty well. He's doing that whole after you're laughing, and then he actually oh no shit, he can actually beat up Michael for a little bit until Michael's like, okay, boom, that's not what happened. You know what I mean? And even then, Busta survived the movie, so hands up to Busta. But look, even in the Rob Zombie one, he's still a massive beast of a human. And in the newest movies, which are in continuity with the first film, he survived those gunshots, and then he survived. Oh, God, he had his hand blown off with a shotgun, which means he's not infallible by any stretch of the means. In fact, a shotgun would be a firearm he would not want to go up against. Or anything higher caliber than that might just blow his head off. But he had his hand blown off. It healed. His hand was blown off. Blown off. He didn't by the way, he didn't survive the fire of that burning house. He just hid in a room and then ultimately walked out of there. So he didn't survive the fire. I mean, he survived it, but he wasn't set on fire or anything like that. It wasn't burned. But then in that movie, okay, I'm trying to remember. There was multiple bludgeons with bats and crowbars and stuff like that. Knife wounds, bullets. He got his ass handed to him until they just got cocky, and he ultimately came and killed the entirety of that group. And then he just walked it off. And it's weird because in this continuity of the first movie to the newest trilogy, he, by all accounts, is human. But even Laurie says, he's human, but he seems to transcend whenever he kills. For some reason, he is, even in his 70s, he is a monster of a human being capable of just surviving God knows how much. Like John, too, he can also stealth and just kind of... Again, it's never fully confirmed he can teleport, but it does come off that way. that or he's just somehow so silent and so skilled at moving that he can move across the lawn without setting off the motion detectors until he wanted to. But beyond that, even at the end of the last movie, where this is old man Michael, and he's wheezing, and he's clear, this is not Michael at his peak. He still was able to keep going, although he kept losing most of the fights he was in that movie. And then against him and Laurie, he struggled against Laurie at that point because he was so old and decrepit. Yet he got stabbed multiple times, crushed, had his hand sliced open down this way, so it was just hanging there. He could still use it. Then he got stabbed in the chest, was still breathing, then had his throat cut and was killed. And just for good measure, they threw him in a salt grinder. If for some reason, whatever reason, they continue that franchise, which they're not going to. That was a lot of diminishing returns on that franchise because the first one was great, the second two, not so great. And the box office shit. Plus, he had the whole day and date release on Peacock, which was not a good thing. Then you can go on the supernatural angle for this version if he comes back from the salt grinder munching up his body. But regardless, if these two were to somehow meet in combat, what would happen? Well, see, Michael Myers and John Wick, there's not really a good way of combining them together in the same world, at least in the sense of having them meet. The best you could do is John is on the run at some point, like he normally is. And you have the assassins coming after him. Maybe some of the assassins suddenly get murked by Michael on Halloween night as they're doing their thing. John sees this. He's trying to figure things out. John can also be taken by surprise too. So but he's also got a good sense of, danger and self-preservation. So he figures out maybe Michael's behind him. So he gets out of the way. Michael misses him, and they're kind of just face off. He just boom, 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 and Michael goes down. It's like, okay, and then boom, puts one in the head, allegedly, and then walks off until he suddenly gets the feeling like, wait a minute, and then sees Michael getting up. Now, we've actually never seen Michael take a legit gunshot to that. Now, I'm not talking about the eyes in the second one, mind you. I'm talking about the head, not like a literal dome shot. I don't think we've ever seen Michael take that. Assuming that for some reason his body is just more durable than a normal person, which is actually very possible. That could just be an easy explanation. There are people who are just more biologically durable than others. Then maybe he still got it in his forehead, but he just kind of takes the bullet. I was like, what the hell? And John reloads, just and just keeps putting him in. And now, like, Michael prepared for the gunfire again. He's like, it just comes in. Michael and John just comes in and maybe just tries to, using the knife. Michael just grabs him by the neck. John just, he's like holding the knife at bay. Just make sure it hits his armor. Should note that his bulletproof armor, I think, can deflect knives to a certain degree. I believe they say that, but of course, Michael usually wields a big F-off kitchen knife. It's a big knife. So maybe it kind of like almost gets through it, and Michael's like, huh? And then John just like, pulls out his sword, gets Michael in the gut, who does fight, and maybe he also stabs him in the hand, because John's not stupid, and just starts wailing on him, just going for every vital spot he can on this guy. Like, this guy will not go down. It's kind of like what happened with the fight with the sumo assassin, and the fight with I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he was a basketball player. The guy in the third movie who he fought in the library. It's like, the guys won't go down. So in a non-supernatural continuity, I would give the win to John here, because while Michael is certainly more durable than the average person by a long margin, he still can be injured. He still can be hurt. And if John's got more than just his pistols on him, if he's got he always has a knife, but he's got a shotgun on him, then Michael's going to go down. That's just it. The supernatural Cult of Thorns thing, though, that's a tricky one, because we never saw exactly what the limit that Michael could survive was. And the fact that even though he technically could not die, he could still get effed up. Like, he was in a coma for a year in between movies, I believe, 4 and 5. So that supernatural protection he has is not infallible by any stretch of the means. In fact, I would argue if you just blew him up, like legitimately stuck dynamite either down his throat, like in his throat, or up his ass and blew his ass up, maybe he survives, but there's no proof he actually would. We've never seen him be that gravely injured and come back. We've seen Jason come back from that. He's literally been blown up and come back. But we've never seen Michael get that badly injured and come back in any of those continuities, particularly the, again, 4 through 6, which would be the continuity you would probably use to kind of justify that. And again, if John has a shotgun and gets like a straight headshot, even if that doesn't kill him, puts him down on the ground for a bit, and then just to be safe, John unloads the damn gun in his face. And I don't know how you come back from no head, but it's entirely possible in this continuity. Again, we also just don't quite know what the full extent of the Cult of Thorn protection is. I mean, we know it's enhanced durability, regenerative capabilities, enhanced physicality. We know all of that, but we just don't know what the extent of that is. You know what I'm saying? We see him survive some shit, but yeah. I will say this, it'd be harder for him to put down that Michael, but as soon as he realizes that Michael's an individual who he can't get into physical confrontation with, which John's a smart guy, he's not going to get into a physical fight with someone he doesn't think he can beat physically. He'll just snipe you from afar if he had to. Then, yeah, I'd still give it to John. Also, because Michael has a big Achilles heel. He's so kind of just nonchalant and just analyzing and dead to the world that he's very slow moving. We never see Michael running at all. Even Jason in one of his reboots got to run. Michael is not a fast mover at all. Even though he could theoretically stealth John could theoretically stealth him back. Like, we've seen John pull that whole disappearing act multiple times. So the stealth argument doesn't really work because, again, unless it's completely confirmed, and it's not, that he can teleport, I'm not giving him a teleportation ability. And even if I did, that's not a guaranteed win. John's got the instincts to, figure out, know when someone's behind him, all that. So, and we've seen him be able to react to people like that. Like I was saying, yeah, because Michael just will stand there and take damage a lot of times because he doesn't think he can be hurt or he doesn't think they're going to be able to kill him. So Michael will just stand there and take damage when he shouldn't. Hence, like Halloween Kills, where he got lucky. Honestly, that's the thing. Michael just got lucky in Halloween Kills. They got too wrapped up in the vengeance and not, hey, should probably either take his head off or just blow his head off. And that ultimately bit them square in the ass. John don't play that way. John would finish the job. So I would probably go John Wick in this. But I will concede that Michael is definitely someone who could kill John if John's not careful. Absolutely. He gets in close quarters with him too much and realizes I can't hurt this guy. And, Michael, especially if Michael maybe gets his hands around John's neck. If Michael gets his hands around John's throat, John's got to be quick, maybe put a knife in his face or something like that, because otherwise he's going to snap John's neck very quick. I can see that entirely. But if we're talking about the way these characters behave and the way they fight, I will most likely concede that John would win the majority of the time. Because John, if he can help it, will not engage in a physical attack when he can just shoot someone in the head. So, there you go. That's my opinion, though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks